It really is a remarkable story, and I'd love you to listen to it this morning because it's a story from Olseley man Joseph Peaty. He's a haemophiliac, the condition, of course, where the blood's ability to clot is severely reduced. That in itself is difficult and hard enough to cope with in life. But from time to time, haemophiliacs will need blood transfusions, and he was given a blood transfusion only to find that it was contaminated. So imagine you already have this genetic disorder and then given blood, which gives you a whole load of other problems as well. In his case, it was infected. He's waited, get this, over 2 decades for action. Now, a local MP is hoping for some parliamentary action. This morning, we start off with a remarkable story that has its roots very much in Coventry and Warwickshire. It's a story of a man from Olseley. He's a haemophiliac, so the condition, of course, where the blood's ability to clot is severely reduced. It's a genetic disorder, and he was given a blood transfusion, as sometimes people with this condition have to do, only to find that it was contaminated. So here you already are dealing in life with a difficult disorder. You're given blood, and then you get a whole load of other problems heaped on you. Now, from here on, he's obviously had a number of issues, and we're going to hear his story a little bit later on in the programme this morning. But get this, he's waited over 2 decades for action on this, over 25 years, and now a local MP is hoping for some parliamentary action on this. We'll be hearing his story a little bit later on. Now, every day is a big day in the Houses of Parliament, or so they'd have us believe anyway, but for one man who's down in London this morning, it is a day he's been waiting for since 1985. Joseph Peaty is from Olseley and joins me now. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning, Annie.
Good morning. Before we get into exactly why you're down in London, just give us a background to your story. First of all, you're a haemophiliac, and I've been saying this morning that it's a condition which is genetic and it reduces the blood's ability to clot. Have I got that right?
Yeah, essentially there's a vital protein that's in people's blood, and this assists the clotting process. We've got one particular protein we call factor VIII missing, and this is a very important protein if you think of it as a chain, and that chain is nice and strong until you've got a link missing out. You take the factor VIII away, and that's like that link's missing, and so that the clotting process doesn't work. Right.
How does that, being a haemophiliac, affect your life?
Oh, it's very disruptive. You can get bleeds into muscles, joints, soft tissue, and obviously the one that everybody knows about is you really don't want to cut yourself if you can help it. When you get a bleed, the area becomes very inflamed, painful, swollen, and it stiffens up so that you can't use it at all. And obviously if anybody's ever sort of strained a muscle or twisted their leg or stubbed a toe, you know that it can be quite debilitating, just taking even a portion out of your physical ability away.
Can you tell us, Joseph, what happened 25 years ago when you had the blood transfusion?
Yeah, in the mid-1970s there was a fantastic new product that was developed, and this had isolated this important protein, and they produced it in freeze-dried form in a little glass vial, and you just mixed it with some water and injected it. For myself, I had inhibitors, which meant that my body fought off this particular type of treatment, and I didn't receive it for a long time. But with development, I was able to receive a product very akin to just factor VIII, and because it was a very lucrative market when it first was developed, a lot of product was required. Now, our government didn't respond. They were either short-sighted, or you could say they mismanaged this introduction of this new product. There was a high demand, and they hadn't got the facilities in this country, and they didn't develop them fast enough, so that they had to import a lot of treatment from America, and they didn't have as stringent controls over where that treatment came from, so they sourced the blood that goes into making it from people like convicts, Skid Row donors, prostitutes, drug users, and of course they pay them, so they're going to keep coming back and giving more and more blood.
So there were no controls on the blood that was being donated?
No. And
it was infected?
the blood that was infected got into the treatment process.
You took the treatment?
And the treatment can contain as many as 60,000 donors in one pool. So, substantial risk. The treatment came over, was given to me. It was hailed as a fantastic new era, and it was going to revolutionise our treatment and change our lives. What it did, and what they were aware of from very early on, was that it contained these viruses, and I received hepatitis and then HIV through this treatment.
So here you were taking a treatment that you thought was actually going to improve your condition, improve the quality of your life, and you find out that in fact the treatment that you received, the blood was contaminated with hepatitis and HIV, and you were 16 at the time.
Around about that age.
Around about 16. Yeah. You're in London today, and Geoffrey Robinson MP is behind this parliamentary debate. Mr. Robinson, good morning.
Good morning.
What exactly is happening in Parliament today?
Well, Joe's given you a lot of technical information, which is very good there. But the simple fact is, when you get down to this, because of the NHS and the worst treatment disaster in its whole history, as Lord Winston, the great medical expert, called it, we have now still 2,700 people in various conditions, such as Joseph's, who have been dreadfully, miserably treated by the government by way of seeing them financially okay. And never have they received an apology from the government. So what I put in my motion today, as you said, the debate stands in my name. I'm very pleased to have supported Joseph all the years in his brilliant campaign they've waged, is that first we should have an apology, but that's not enough. After all these years, despite the financial difficulties, it's time to put this terrible wrong right. And what better time to do it than for the present coalition government that has no responsibility at all for what the previous governments have done, to take the opportunity to make a clean break. And Lord Justice Hoffman, when they took it to the High Court, he annulled all the reasons of the previous governments, the Tory and Labour involved in all this. It's non-party political. It's a straight human disaster we're trying to correct here. Human tragedy we're trying to put right. It's for Justice Hoffman said, look, I don't accept these reasons. The government is responsible. It has no excuse. And it's now down to you to carry your campaign to Parliament, which I have done, and I'm delighted to present them, as you can imagine.
All these decades ago, I mean, there were recommendations from Lord Archer. They were very good recommendations. They were never implemented. So the motion is basically to call on the government to extend an apology, but also I would have thought, at least in some small way, even if it's financial support, apologies, all fine and dandy, but there has to be a financial element to it. Now, how confident are you that there will be...
Well, I don't know. It's not for me to say. I know the
we must have an idea.
Sort of money, and we wait to see what sort of a response we're going to get to the motion. If the motion would carry the government by the House of Commons in a majority, the government would be bound by it. I think what we've heard is the government is going to oppose it. It's going to... it's a non-party political issue, this. We have to wait to see the motion. But if you speak to us after the debate, we'll tell you how it's gone. The essence of our position is an apology. Plus, let's do just what the Irish did. They had the same problem. The French had the same problem. Let's copy the Irish. They're not far away. Take their level of remuneration, no more, no less, but just let's go for that. And the people here, some of them got liver transplants surviving for a decade or more. It's been a great disaster. We've got to put it right.
You say, and it's all great that we're now trying to put this right now. This is 25 years. Why has it taken till now? Why didn't the previous government do something about it? Your administration.
I was very, very disappointed in our reaction. Very disappointed that all we would do is...
It's shameful, isn't it?
It is shameful. Yes, I'm not trying to defend it. I'm attacking it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying it is shameful, isn't it? It's 25 years.
I can't tell you how ashamed I am of the whole thing.
And quite rightly so. All right, Mr. Robinson, we'll hopefully speak with you again tomorrow with a very positive outcome. Thank you very much indeed. Joseph, stay with us. We'll talk some more in a moment.
BBC Coventry and Warwickshire.